Hello children, welcome for today's biology class. So today we are going to continue the chapter human reproduction. So today the topic going to be covered is oogenesis, that is formation of ovum. Now let us go inside the topic. The formation of mature female gamete or ovum is called oogenesis. Genesis means formation of ovum. Oogenesis, it starts during embryonic stage itself, that is 25th week of the fetal stage. The germinal epithelium of ovary divides mitotically to produce millions of gamete mother cell, and that the gamete mother cell we call that as oogonia. No oogonia is added after birth. Okay, oogonia enters into meiosis 1 and proceeds up to diakinesis. Prophase 1, different steps are there. So, leptotene, zygotene, pachytene, diplotin, diakinesis. So, here during the diakinesis stage of prophase 1, it gets suspended. At this stage, it is known as primary oocyte. And each primary oocyte is surrounded by layer of granulosa cells and then called as primary follicle. So then at puberty, 60,000 to 80,000 primary oocytes are left in each ovary. After puberty, the primary follicle, it undergoes maturation. Okay, and the primary follicle gets surrounded by more layers of granulosa cells and a new theca to form secondary follicle. Can you see? Slowly it getting increased in size. Secondary follicle, then later into tertiary follicle, mature one you call that as Graafian follicle. And the mature tertiary follicle, it is characterized by a fluid filled cavity. Can you see here that you call that as, this antrum. And the theca layers are there, organized into theca, inner theca, that is, and theca interna, and outer theca externa. And during the growth of primary follicle to tertiary follicle during puberty, the primary oocyte, it restarts its first meiotic division and completes within tertiary follicle, constituting two unequal haploid cells. Large haploid cell is called secondary oocyte, and a tiny cell that you call that as first polar body. Means there will be equal cytoplasmic division and unequal, so equal nuclear division and unequal cytoplasmic division will be there. So nuclear division will be equal and cytoplasmic division will be unequal. So that's why there will be one will be small and other will be bigger. And the secondary oocyte, it retains the bulk of the nutrient rich cytoplasm of primary oocyte. And the tertiary follicle having the secondary oocyte further changes into Graafian follicle. And the secondary oocyte surrounded by a new membrane. That new membrane you call that as zona pellucida. Okay, this is the structure of ovary, TS of ovary. So the secondary oocyte surrounded by a new membrane, then that new membrane you call that as zona pellucida. And the secondary oocyte, it undergoes second meiotic division and it is continued up to metaphase 2 and gets suspended until the entry of sperm. Means it continues for second meiotic division and suspend at the stage of metaphase 1 and it waits till the entry of sperm. When the entry of sperm is there, then the meiosis 2 will continue. At this stage, the Graafian follicle releases the secondary oocyte from the ovary by the process called ovulation. Okay, and the entry of sperm into the secondary oocyte, it stimulates and to complete the meiosis 2. It stopped up to metaphase 1 now. When there is fertilization, then it will complete the meiosis 2 and there is a formation of haploid ovum and the secondary polar body. Now you see here the entire thing, it has been shown in a form, that is flow diagram, that is stages during the maturation of ova. First primary oocyte, then primary oocyte, it is converted to primary follicle and later into secondary follicle. Okay, and here can you see the different layers are formed, theca externa, theca interna, and it has antrum and the fluid filled the portion you call that as antrum, and finally maturation. On maturation, that one you call that as tertiary follicle, then finally you call that as Graafian follicle, fully matured, and here then it undergoes here only the meiosis is completed and results in the formation of the secondary oocyte and the polar body. Okay, and the secondary oocyte, so it remains covered by the layer, and the layers are zona pellucida and corona radiata, and finally it ruptures and liberates the ovum, and this one you call that as ovulation. Okay children, you remember the terms. In the form of flow diagram it will be easier for remembering. So metaphase 2 of meiosis. Okay, so it will be completed on the entry of sperm only. Otherwise, so it will be remaining up to metaphase 2 only. The entry of sperm only, it completes the meiosis 2. So this is oogenesis. Once again the same thing. So it undergoes this in the embryo. It is like that in the form of oogonia. Then the primary oocyte. Then primary oocyte undergoes meiosis 1, secondary oocyte and the first polar body. Then another meiosis 2 division. So it is the bigger one, that is the ovum, and this is the secondary polar body, and this also parallelly undergoes meiosis 2. Here these 3 polar bodies will undergo degeneration. Only one will remain. Other 3 will undergo degeneration. Only the completion and the formation of this ovum, it is completed by the entry of sperm. The entry of sperm only finishes the meiosis 2. Okay children. Now let us study regarding the hormonal control of oogenesis. From the hypothalamus, it produces the gonadotrophin releasing hormone. Okay, and the gonadotrophin releasing hormone, it acts upon the pituitary gland, and from the pituitary gland the follicle stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormones are produced, and it acts upon the ovary and results in the production of ova and estrogen, progesterone hormones. Actually, the ovary produces the hormone called estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen is responsible for female secondary sexual characters, and progesterone, it is helpful in the maintenance of pregnancy. Okay, so here the mature Graafian follicle, it produces estrogen, and later after the releasing of ovum, that the Graafian follicle is converted into corpus luteum, and the corpus luteum, it produces the hormone called progesterone. It is helpful in the maintenance of pregnancy. Okay, so now let us study the differences between the spermatogenesis and oogenesis. So here the oogenesis, it starts at embryonic stage, while the spermatogenesis, it starts at puberty. The polar bodies are formed only during oogenesis but not formed during spermatogenesis, because so the polar bodies, among the 4 formed, 4 cells, daughter cells formed, only one is converted into ovum. Other 3, they will be in the form of polar bodies, but in spermatogenesis all they will be surviving. So oogenesis results in the formation of only one egg at the end product, while the spermatogenesis, it results in the formation of 4 sperms. Okay, so these are the differences between spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Okay.